So next on their first year report, Lawrie Hooper, MHK for Ramsey, member LibVan of course. We haven't chatted to you that much this year. I think really was the business over the courthouse.
Yeah.
But should I ask you first of all, what was your main principle standing? What did you besides the LibVan ticket? Did you have a particular thing you had on your mind when you went door knocking?
I don't think there was one burning issue really that made me do that. Generally, the lack of openness, the lack of transparency, or at least the seeming lack of transparency, was one sort of big driver, and also the way that the government was continually sort of building up stealth charges and taxes and dripping all the way. They're the two kind of main things that made me think, you know what, someone needs to get in there and either put a stop to this or at least change the way we do things.
And going LibVan, that was a definite decision. I mean, did it suit your totally? I mean,
I've been a member of the party since, I'm going to go back now, maybe 2011, because I was a LibVan member when I stood for
I just wanted to, sometimes people decide that in the day they're just being independent. Has it been a bonus?
It has most definitely been a bonus, actually. Because obviously there's three of us at the moment, so we can form a core to work together. We do share a lot of information, we share a lot of stuff, and I'm actually finding that it's quite useful when talking to sort of other members. Because there's already me and Julie, or me and Kate and Julie, the three of us, when Kate's not busy being a minister, it gives you that kind of core backing of support, so you know when you go and talk to other people that you've already got someone that's on your side, that's got your back.
But that's been the problem, surely, at the end of the day. You have a minister who has to sometimes not do what you want them to do.
That has been a little bit tricky sometimes, but I think on balance it's probably been for the best, actually. I think it really has, because it gives us as a party that voice, that vote inside Comyn. And obviously we don't get all the information that comes out of it because it's all confidential, but Kate does occasionally sound us out on things without giving any specifics, or we're talking in general policy terms. And so it does help give the party, and through us then, the members of the party, that direct access.
So you think it's helpful rather than just being the three of you being the opposition?
I think it is, actually. I think equally, if the three of us were all on the back bench, I think that would be just as effective, to be honest. Really, I wasn't sure how it was going to work, in all honesty, but it has seemed to turn out okay for the most part. Have
you had that moment, though, when you don't agree with the party? How do you vote?
It's a strange one, because the way that we work as a party is we don't have a party whip. So the only things that we all collectively have signed up to are the things that are in the party manifesto, which are principles-based, rather than being specific policy directions. And so when we disagree, we always agree with the principle, but we tend to disagree on, well, how do we get there? And that's absolutely fine. That's the way that I think that democracy should work. You should be able to say, well, actually, we know where we want to be in 5 years, but we just don't know how we're going to get there, what the journey is going to be. And so if we're going to disagree on those points, that's absolutely fine. And so occasionally we are going to vote slightly different ways, perhaps in Tynwald, which has happened when the minister has had to vote with Comyn and me and Julie have gone the other way, or when one of us has had to vote with a department and the other one has disagreed with that. You know, it is quite a flexible system.
What's been your biggest success this year?
It's a tricky one. I'd love to claim the courthouse, but actually that really wasn't me. It wasn't a political thing at all. That was almost entirely down to the public support. So
were you surprised how it was handled?
Very surprised how it was handled, definitely. I completely out of the blue, completely didn't seem to make any sense, any logic at all as to why that happened. But no, like I say, that was entirely down to the people more than me or Alex or anyone else involved. Everyone played their part, everyone did a good job. So whilst that was a great success for the town, I think it's probably not mine to claim. I don't know, I've been pretty vociferous, pretty loud, and pretty challenging actually in Tynwald. Probably one of the most challenging, thinking back about it. Over the last 12 months. I've definitely got some quite key and quite important amendments through various bits of legislation, including the Equality Act, so I'm pretty happy with some of the things I've achieved in that space. But
do you see your role as the sort of opposition?
In some respects, yes, but in others, no. I mean, my role really is what it was when I said, is to represent the people that elected me. And sometimes that means standing up and saying, hold on, I disagree with you on this. And sometimes it means standing up and saying, no, actually, you're doing the right thing, let's crack on. So it isn't always about being the critical voice. Sometimes it's about being a critical friend, I think, saying, well, this is maybe how we could do this better.
And how do you get on with your counterpart there from Ramsey as well? I mean, do you work as a team, or do you completely separate your...
No, we work together quite a lot, actually. I mean, I spent 4 years on the commission with Alex anyway.
Yeah.
So we've got a relationship there. And no, we work really well together. I'm very pleased, actually, that the two of us are in together. It's been a
you have communication.
Very regular communication, actually, yeah.
Have you got things this coming year that you really set your eyes on to do?
There's a few key things I'd like to get through in the next year. I don't want to give all the game away, obviously, but there are some big areas that I want to start looking into. The Auditor General, for example, we don't have one. We have an Act, but it isn't really fit for purpose. I don't think it needs to be changed. There are issues with Isle of Man insolvency law. There are issues on a much wider frontage in that kind of corporate law space as well. And then on top of that, you've got issues like oral health strategy. I mean, simply on a constituency level, I want to get the dentists sorted. That's not exactly my job. That's the health department. I know they're working on it, but it is a big issue for us. So again, it's a mixture of things, really.
And when you see the government's quarterly reports, are you on that? You know, how they're doing, keeping an eye on?
Yeah, they've just published their first of these yes. KPIs, and obviously there isn't a comparison yet. So it's
true,
just this is where we are.
But let's try. Were you happy with what you saw in that report then?
It's some bits of it, yes, because it was quite an interesting amount of data in there. Some bits of it were more just, that's quite a surprising bit of information. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next quarter looks like, and then the quarter after that, so we can actually start building up a trend and saying, well, where are we going? Because it's all well and good saying unemployment is at X, but is it going up? Is it going down? Where are we? And those are the kind of bits of information that are going to come out over the next couple of quarters. And
just remind us, what are you on in government? What departments you got?
Two departments that I sit on right now are the DED and Education.
Which bit in DED have you got?
Oh, that's a tricky one. At the moment in DED,
it's all going to change, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm responsible, or I've got political responsibility for manufacturing and aerospace, energy policy, clean tech, mines and minerals. It's quite a wide brief.
What happens?
And the financial assistance schemes as well all fall under my remit.
But what happens when it changes? Do you know yet?
Yeah, when it changes, I'm practically keeping all of those, but also gaining construction, I believe, is another area that's coming into.
Happy with this? You enjoy it?
Yeah, I think it's great.
Would you like something else?
I'll do anything that I'm one of those people that's interested in just about everything. So put me in a room with some documents and I'm happy as Larry. I'll just crack on. Okay. So the role's great, especially because a lot of the sectors that I've been given kind of responsibility for, they look after themselves, because the businesses over here that run in these sectors are absolutely fantastic. They're proactive, they're go-getters, they know what they want, and they're not afraid to tell you. And so really, for the government's job is in a lot of ways, it's just to say, right, how can we help? We're not going to go out there and start kicking doors down or anything. You just say, well, you guys are doing a great job. Just give me a call if you need anything, and it's working really well, I think.
How have you found this whole thing, the process? Is it lived up to your expectations? Has it been a bigger challenge than you thought it would be? You're one of the younger chaps as well.
It has been a hugely challenging role, actually. It's a big transition from private sector, from the corporate world, definitely. It's a completely different environment.
Running in glue sort of feel to it when you try to get things done?
I don't know, it depends. Sometimes you feel that you're banging your head against a wall and you think, how can people not understand this? This is really simple. Why can't they just accept that I'm right and just do what I want? But equally at other times, they're just been the most kind of smooth, helpful process you can imagine. You say, we need to do this, and within 5 minutes someone said, yeah, well, great, we'll do that, crack on, all sorted. So
how much of your life has it taken over, though? Because you're a family man and all that, how's it
it's definitely a full-time, just like when I worked in the private sector, you're working full-time anyway, so all this is just replace that, so you're just working pretty much constantly.
I'd say one of the younger chaps, obviously your eye on a prize. Do you see yourself as a career politician? I suppose I've asked on that one. Would you see yourself carrying on into this, for many years to come?
It's a difficult one. I think I'd like to. I think I'd like to see myself carrying on as long as I felt that I could contribute. But really, it's not up to me to make that call. It's going to be up to.
Yeah, but you've got to want to stand. And I know it's early days and everything, but I think you feel that you're in the right place.
Yeah. What it comes down to really is there is so much that can be done. There's so much to do. And I think there's no way that you could ever say, it's all finished, I'm done, I'm walking away from this. I think that would be a really hard decision to make, because there is so much opportunity and there's so much potential.
You haven't been ground down yet?
Not yet, no, but it's only been 11 months, so there's still time.
Eye on a prize to be, which department would you like if you were offered a ministerial post? What would you like?
Well, like I said, it's been 11 months. I think it takes quite a large amount of hubris to say I'm going to walk into a new job.
And I'm not saying you're going, but you must have an idea at some point, even if it's down the road. Is it something you'd like?
I honestly haven't put any thought into it.
No.
I'm really happy where I am. I feel like I say, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of sort of positive contributions I feel like I'm making.
I think you probably thought about it. I'm sure it must have crossed your mind.
It really hasn't.
It's like you would never want to be Chief Minister? Has that even thought about that?
come and ask me again in 10 years maybe, but it's not something I've thought about. It's not a role. I didn't stand for election and then immediately think, right then, let's pick a department. That's never been on the radar.
So you're happy where you are. If a reshuffle tomorrow, you wouldn't particularly have any eyes on any other department you want to work in?
I don't know.
You say you're just flexible.
Like I say, I have quite a wide interest. I'm happy to pick up anything that looks like it needs sorting. So
would you recommend this job to people?
I probably would, actually. It is a fantastic job, just because of the potential and the opportunities that you have. But really, you've got to be committed to it. It isn't something I'd say just think about doing it as a bit of no. You have to be 110% all the way.
What's your views on all the people see it as jollies when people go away and they do some research and they do the Commonwealth thing and all that sort of thing?
Some of them I can see do add value. You're going away, you're actually meeting people.
Have you done some?
I haven't. The furthest I've been so far is Liverpool, actually. No,
there are a fair few people heading to sunny climes, haven't there?
There are, and it does happen. Some of them I think do add real value. Some of them provide experiences for other people as well. Especially the Commonwealth, the BIC, that kind of stuff, it really can be beneficial. Some of them...
So you're happy with that?
Some of them I'm not entirely sure. And I think, to my mind, if someone says, do you want to go on a jolly on a trip, my first question has always been, well, actually, how is this going to be a benefit to me? How is this going to be a benefit to the island, really? Yeah. And if I can't see a benefit, then I'll say, no, I'm not interested in going, thanks for the offer, but it's not my cup of tea. And that's why I haven't gone anywhere in the last 11 months, because the things that have come up, I've looked at them and thought, well, it might be nice to go and spend a week in Bangladesh or something, but it's not really part of my job, it's not really why I'm here, and I don't see the direct benefits that's going to give.
Time coming to rate yourself out of 10, you know that question's coming, so people have a chance to think about it. How have you rate yourself over the last 11 months?
Again, I don't really think I can. It's not really my job to do that. It's at the end of the day, I think that I find that I've put in a lot of work. I definitely feel like I'm contributing. I definitely feel like I'm making a difference. But at the end of the day, it's not up to me to judge that, is it? It's going to be up to
more and more those going on.
And turn around and say, yeah, this is what we think.
Okay, can't get an answer there. But what about the government as a whole? You think out of 10, how do you rate yourselves as a
That's quite a tricky one for the first 12 months, because a lot of what's gone on has kind of been put in train by the previous administration, and so the current administration, they're trying to turn the boat slightly.
Well, the super tanker is moving.
And so you can see some of the things they're trying to do. I think for an aspiration side of things, I'd give them quite a high score, really, because it seems like they've got their eye on the prize. But actually, as far as delivering it goes, I think we're going to have to wait and see how the next 12 months goes, because this will be the first year, really, that they've had a lot more control.
I'll bring you back next year for the next
one.
Bring
me back in.
But this year, give me out of 10 now.
This year, I think I'd probably give them 6 or a 7 so far. Yeah. There've been some decisions they've made that I've not really agreed with. They've definitely approached some things in a very strange way, and not the way that I would have chosen to go down that route. But I think overall, on balance, they do have the right kind of direction of travel in mind, and so it's just waiting to see now whether they can deliver on that.